Hello guys, it's me, the X whatever here today, and today we're doing what if Deku had bt-7274. And so I have not been posting this part 4, just I've been, not really motivated because, I needed to, have some time, but anyway, thank you so much for 2,000 subscribers, guys. I did not expect us to reach this goal. But thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. So I have decided to do part 4 for this. And what if Bell had the Bell as a bioweapon? I actually have a brilliant idea how to do that for part 4. But anyway, I'll start the story. As Deku begins getting dressed in his normal, well, what people think would be normal clothes, it's just that the clothes aren't normal. The clothes that he will be wearing are nanotech, basically. As Deku finally just says, okay, that should be everything. As BT says to Bell in the, sorry guys, I've been, watching so much Dutch, you might keep confusing Deku, Bell with fucking Deku, I don't know why. As Deku put on the glasses, BT begins communicating to him with numbers as his pilot. Are you sure this is wise? Bell no, alright, I'm gonna fucking slap myself. Deku turns around and says, yeah, BT, I'll be fine. But could you train up Ronin and Tone for me? BT says, yes, I will. He says, yes, I will. Pilot, their training will be more intense. As Bell is like, I'm gonna fucking slap myself. I keep saying fucking Bell. Why do I keep saying Bell? Everyone just tell me, everyone just say, stop saying Bell in the comment section, please. Stop, everyone just says that in the comment section. Izuku, yeah. Okay, I'll just go by Izuku. Izuku was, about to head out, but Izuku turned around and saw, one of the drones, so the robot drones, look holding something. As Izuku goes towards it, he looks at the weapon that the robot's holding. Izuku's surprised that it's holding a sniper rifle. And Izuku's like, wait, when did we get this? And BT's like, oh, pilot. We've actually acquired that from one of the caches that was in the broken down ship. As Izuku's like, what, really? As BT says, yes. It appears that it is undamaged, and we may be able to fabricate it, and probably make more of these, and have different versions. As Izuku's like, oh, that's great. But Izuku look at the time on his watch. He says, oh shoot, I'm gonna be late. BT. BT says, yeah? Can you do me fastball? As BT gives him the thumbs up as the door begins opening as BT begins grabbing Izuku and putting him in his hand. As BT points up to the sky, he says, wind velocity 19 degrees. Weight, kilograms of weight, 30 calibers. As Deku's like, really, BT? As BT's doesn't laugh, but he just smirks. Oh, a Titan can't smirk, but imagine he's smirking on the inside. He throws Deku, but Deku deploys his cloak, and Deku begins flying in the sky. And he's like, huh? Oh, good thing I'm wearing this. Good thing I'm wearing this nanotech clothing. As Bell arrives at the school door, but he hits the sear kit that boosts him back and lands him into the trees, and his cloaking invisibility deactivates. As Deku begins as the sear kit begins turning into Bell's pants. Well, Bell is still wearing pants, but it just goes back into Bell's turns into normal clothing. Deku begins grabbing a backpack, getting his backpack, Deku begins hoisting his backpack that he made out of this normal material of Earth. As Deku begins walking down to the U.S. to the UA entrance, Izuku was astonished about how well it looked, and he wasn't even surprised that they would let like a quirkless person like him join. Well, actually, he thought to himself, like, I forgot, this is not a quirk, it's just nanotech enhancing my strength, he said in his head. As Izuku opened the door, he begins walking up the stairs, and he looks for class 1A. He looks at his note, like, he looks at the note he has, like, okay. He begins walking down the hallways and looking, like, okay, where's class 1A? Where's class 1A? No, not this class. No, no, no. Ah, there it is. He manages to find it. And when he gets in there, he just sees this kid. He sees Tenya, Ida, and Bakugo fighting. Note to self: how does Izuku know about Tenya, Ida? Izuku actually hacked into the USJ like training footage or exam and just saw the fight. But Deku did intervene a bit because Deku did stop the robot from crushing Oraka, just slowly slowing it down. However, Nezu knows that there was a hack, but he couldn't locate where the hack came from. It was like it was untraceable. But anyway, I'll get to the story. Ah, guys, sorry. My arm is like super tired, guys. I have no idea. Plus, I have no fucking clue how I'm like making. If you guys, if you guys watched part 1 for this, tell me in the fucking comment section right now, and just tell me how the fuck am I doing a good job at making part 1 like so good, but when I do like Dutchima at all, it's just shit, you know? But anyway, as Izuku sits down on his desk, Bakugo gets up and just walks to Deku like saying, "Hey, Quirkless, hey, Deku, I told you not to get into this class," Bakugo says. As Deku looks at him, that face just does not give a fuck. Deku just gets up and just flicks Bakugo, knocking him the fuck out. As Ido's like, that was not appropriate use of your quirk. As Deku looks at Ida and just says to him, well, you were a coward at the you were a coward in the exam. So why should I listen to you, Ida? As Ida, like, is shook back by this, he shuts the fuck up and sits back down. As Bakugo begins waking up a few minutes later, and he goes back into his seat, he begins questioning about how Izuku got a damn quirk, and Bakugo was knocked out for a good about 5 minutes. Of course, Deku knew Aizawa was there. He just didn't want anyone to know. As the rest of the class came in, as the rest of the class 1A came in, everyone got seated and acquainted, and Oraka looked at that green-haired kid, and she was like, I wonder who we see, because they have never met. And when Momo comes in, she like waves to Izuku like, Izuku! And Izuku waves to Momo like, hey Airozu. As Bakugo looks at Deku like saying, wait, he knows her? As Izuku and Momo begin talking a bit, as then Eraserhead gets up, opens the door, and just says, shut up! It took you 30 seconds to shut the fuck up. As everyone's like Momo begins going to her seat, and so does everyone in class. As Aizawa begins explaining about how they're going to have a physical test, Deku just smirks at this and he just begins trying not to laugh, but he thinks like, oh my god, I'm going to destroy the test since the nanobots that are in my bloodstream and in my bloodstream are going to be enhancing my body but I can probably be able to beat Ida with ease. Bakugo, I'm gonna make sure he's in the fucking third place. As everyone begins going to the training to the fuck, I forgot the fucking name. What the fuck? The training exam. No, not the training exam. The quirk training or the examination test. There you go. Deku, everyone begins walking through the changing room, and before Mineta, oh, never mind. Before, yeah, Deku came in there first, and other boys arrived too. All the boys looked at Deku, and they just looked at him like he was fucking buff as hell. He looked like a fucking like, he almost had like All Might's exact fucking muscles, like fatigue as well. So everyone questions like Deku about dude, you look like, dude, you look like All Might. As Deku says, yeah, oh really? Must be the muscles. As Kirishima says, yeah, what's your working regiment, bro? As Izuku says, first off, Kirishima, Deku gives Kirishima a dead glare, like a death stare, like, do you lift boulders up every day? As Kirishima's like, I've never tried, but I would love to, Kirishima says. As Deku's like, okay then, if you want a training regimen, you can hang out with me. As Kirishima's like, thank you, Izuku bro! As Deku thinks to himself, Izuku bro? Really? As then Mineta points out there's a peeping hole that their predecessors leave. He's like, I'm gonna watch all the girls naked. As Deku's like this, Mineta. As Mineta looks at Deku, as he just sees Deku just staring at him with a death stare. As Mineta says, like, yes? As Izuku just begins, like, touching the wall, and all of a sudden the wall begins turning into some type of, like, the hole into a metal that was filling the hole. As Mineta's like, what was that for? As Deku like points out to him that he's being a pervert, and he should not have done that. And he's gonna make sure. And Deku said he's gonna make sure that he's gonna keep a good eye on you now. As Izuku leaves, and Ida and Kirishima are like, wow. He like took that situation and dealt with it. As Juno was listening in, as of course Deku knew she was listening in because he could sense the sound waves that she was tuning into. Note self is okay. This is like you know how like the anime just like cuts to like a commercial like about how like the characters like quirks work. This is it. Izuku Midoriya, quirkless. However, he got into UA because people think that his quirk awakened because he was a late bloomer. However, this was not a quirk. The nanites in his bloodstream enhance his strength by an insane amount. An amount that cannot be matched with All Might or One for All. However, if he uses all of the strength, his body will be completely destroyed by doing this. However, if he uses about 50% of the nanites, he'll be able to withstand withstand about 15 All Might's punches But the downside is the auto regeneration will take like a long time for that to heal, because of the amount of damage. If the more damage Izuku takes, the more harder it will become for him to be able to, how should I say this? Be able to use the nanites again. As Izuku arrives wearing like the training uniform, as so the others do, Ayazawa says, "Okay, kids, we're gonna test out your quirks. So, let's just see. Bakugo Katsuki, you go first." As Bakugo looks at Deku, as Bakugo begins walking towards there, looking at Deku as he smirks. And Suzuki's like, oh, I hope I fucking shock him because I'm gonna make sure that I break him. As Bakugo just as Aizawa gives the ball to Bakugo, as Bakugo pulls his right arm all the way behind him and just says, "Die!" As a huge explosion happens, like throwing the fucking ball all the way to the sky. And it says the same thing. Kilometers. It says same thing in the anime. As then Araka tries it and she got infinity. As Deku's like, I can't beat that. As Deku begins walking up to the thing, Deku begins pulling up his arm, but however, Aizawa grabs it before. And Aizawa says, "Kid, you shouldn't, kid. I'm making sure you don't harm yourself." As Deku looks at Aizawa with that confused face and just saying, "Aizawa, what do you mean, Aizawa? I'm pretty sure I'm well aware of, I don't know, my ability, so I'm not gonna try to go over pushing myself and breaking anything." Aizawa says, "Whatever. Your quirk is now unerased." As Deku just smiles as he pulls his arm back and throws it into the sky, breaking the sound barrier 2 times. And Aizawa looked at the calculator. Let's just say that it was past All Might's record. And everyone in class when he was like astounded. And Aizawa was like, huh, looks like he was able to beat All Might. And All Might was hiding in the corner because, fuck, who would be his successor? Fuck. Shit. For fuck's sake, I don't know where to start with this now. Great. But anyway, I'll get to it. As Deku actually says, wait a minute. Hey, Aizawa. Yeah? Izuku? I'm actually gonna go home. I'm gonna go home, as Aizawa says. Wait, why? Well, Aizawa, I would actually like being here, but I'm too tired today, okay? Can I just leave early? As Aizawa looks at Deku, as he just sees, like, his eyes are, like, giving him the fucking, like, puppy eyes, like, saying, "Please let me leave." And Aizawa says, "Fine, I'll let you leave." As Izuku is about to, like, literally fucking dash away. But, as Izuku stops, you have to complete all the training in less than 5 minutes. As Izuku's like, "Done." As Izuku begins doing everything, like, super fucking fast. And Aizawa was like, for fuck's sake, I didn't think he'd be done in fucking 1 minute and five seconds. Jesus. And Izuku looked at Aizawa, smirking, and Aizawa says, "Fine, you can leave." As Izuku waves his hand, just says, "Bye," literally just fucking dashes the fuck away. As Aizawa says, "Okay, kids, let's get to this." As Izuku begins going back to his class, as he begins getting changed, he begins putting on the glasses that BT gave him, and Izuku improved. Izuku asks, "Hey BT, you there?" as he's walking back to the classroom. As BT begins, like a bunch of numbers begin putting up on his, like, glasses, like saying, "Yes, I'm here." As Izuku begins saying, like, so, which one of them is All Might's successor? BT says, "Well, I have narrowed down the possible candidate." As Izuku's like, "Who's the candidate?" "Well, Izuku, it appears to be Bakugo Katsuki." As Izuku's like, "That guy?" As BT says, "Yes. Apparently, he was how about this, guys? Comment section, should Bakugo Katsuki be All Might's successor? Or should All Might still have his quirk? You guys could decide in the comment section, but for now, I'll be going with this for now, so whatever. As Izuku's like, well, at least he's gonna be the worst hero ever. As BT says, affirmative, pilot. As Deku begins talking to BT about formulas and different designs and different type of titans that they were gonna be making, Momoai's Rosu actually got back to the class before her classmates, and she overheard Deku, like, she thinks when she walked into the room, he just hears him saying about these formulas, and now this fucking interested Aizarosu, as Aizarosu walked up to Deku and just sat and, like, was right in front of him just saying, "Please, what are these formulas you're saying? I want to know." As Zuko's is like sweating right now, like, her eyes are like puppy eyes, like, Izuku's like, "Fine." As Zuko begins, like, showing her the formulas that he has in his notebook that he's been writing down this entire time about, like, fusing these type of metals together to make a new type of metal, and then when that metal is fused, grind it down, reuse it, grind it down, and make it much more stronger and more resistible. However, adding a bit of, like, just say, of a plastic type of fiber to it to make it more able to, like, more maneuverable and more more agility, basically. As everyone gets back to class and Aizawa says class will be dismissed since today is it. As Zuku says bye to Momo as he's leaving the classroom. And All Might's actually appearing around the corner, and Deku just stares at him just with that fucking look of disappointment. As All Might gets a chill down his spine, he's like, "What? How did that young man see me?" As Zuku begins, I don't know, going home, as All Might has suspicion that One For All gave Deku a quirk. As Deku, like, turns around and just begins walking to All Might because he was about to go into the forest that he's been living in for the past few weeks because he moved out because he didn't want to live with his mother anymore because he just didn't want her to get involved with anything that he was related in. Well, as Deku turns to All Might, it says, "All Might, I know you're following me. You might as well stop following me." As All Might appears out of the bush and walks up to Deku, just says, "Excuse me, young Midoriya. Where have you gotten the quirk?" As Deku just looks at him, just says, "I'm a late bloomer. You got that?" As All Might's like, "Yes, young man, but that strength you have, the super speed." And as Deku's like, "My quirk's called enhancement, you fucking idiot." As All Might's like, "Yes, I know it's an enhancement quirk, but able to create stuff in the walls?" As actually Deku actually has an explanation for that. Deku says that, well, since I have to eat like a lot of actually calories a day, I have to eat a lot of food, so I have like a lot of iron in my blood in my system. I'm able to create stuff, but however, it takes about a lot of iron to do that. So yeah, to be able to make an object. So there's your explanation, All Might. Now fuck right off and leave me the hell alone. As Izuku turns away from him and begins walking away. As All Might's like, "Damn it, that kid's so arrogant." "It doesn't matter. As long as Bakugo Katsuki carries my legacy, I'm happy." As Izuku gets back to his base, he begins asking BT about how the training was going. As BT says, "Well, the training went extremely well, Izuku." As Deku's like, "Great," as he was walking up the stairs and going up to the hologram screens. As Izuku says, So, how is the Monarch and the How is Monarch and Special Forces doing? The robots. As BT says, well, those two are on patrols surrounding this area. As Suzuki says, good. And also, how's that ship coming along? As BT says, well, the ship is being closely guarded by Monarch, and the special forces are actually making sure no one enters the surrounding area, along with a couple of sentry bots. As Izuku says, stretching out. Good. It's quite annoying when pests get in here and just start destroying shit. As BT says, yes, it is. As Deku says, well, how's the new Stalker program? Not Stalker, Stalker. Yeah, Stalker. As BT says, well, Stalkers that you have described to me, they will be much more stronger than the normal ones. But however, they will also be able to blow up, but they will have a bigger blast radius, about 2 meters, instead of the other ones being 1 meter. As Suzuki says, good. And I don't want anyone finding out what I'm doing out here. As BT says, affirmative. As Suzuki also says, so, how is Scorch and Northstar coming along? BT says, well, Scorch's torso is completely finished. However, we're still fixing on the arms that I've given you. Some of the data, regarding Scorch and Northstar and Legion are still being developed. However, their guns have been developed. Azuki's like, good. But how is the brute shot that I've salvaged from the wreck? As BT says, well, it is in rough condition, but we have managed to rebuild it from scratch, and a few improvements onto the design. As Deku gets out of his chair and looks at BT and just says, and what the improvements are. BT says, well, it's now able to shoot longer range and now has much more better damage ratio. However, the reloading speed is greatly still the same. As Deku puts his hands on his face and was like, oh, I should have expected this. As Deku and BT begin talking about the methods and how to make some what they're gonna be calling primes after the Titans that they're been making are finished, Deku asks actually BT about how the project's going. As BT's like, the project's going great. The Reaper project is, well, how shall I say this? Almost done. We're almost being completely re-improving on the design. If I did not say Deku found a Reaper, or he did, I'm sorry, but he found a Reaper and they started improving them, so whatever, but as BT says, but however, running a bit low on materials. Pilot. As Zuko's like, great. That's another fucking thing I have to deal with. Great. BT. How is Ronin and Tone's combat efficiency? BT says their combat efficiency has risen up to 25% to about 45%. As Deku's like, okay, go train them more, because I need Titans that are 100% combat efficient. Because then I can use those guys for more patrols, and then we won't have to. Then we can have two groups. Tone will be guarding the spaceship with Monarch, and the special forces will be the patrol with patrolling with Ronin. As B says, very well, good, very well, pilot. I shall do so. As BT leaves and opens an elevator going down to the combat chamber room, where the like Ronin and Tone are fighting. As BT gets into there and just says, "Are you ready, you two?" As BT like hit collides both his fists together, creating a huge clunking sound and sparks going off. As both of them start fighting each other and begin focusing on BT. However, we cut to Izuku. I'm sorry, guys. I know you want them to fight, but I'll describe it later. I swear to God, this is like another fucking okay, good 30 minutes. Good. It's 12 a.m. Jesus, how long BT has been training those guys? Whatever. I guess I'll get to work. Da 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 da. Doing this. Let's see. Yes, I'll improve the 9 lights with this method and doing this formula. And doing this, do this, and that. And da 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 da. There you go. Now we got back to the UA. As Aizawa was asking about why did why did Nezu call Aizawa here, Nezu says, "Ah, Mr. Aizawa, and I have a little thing I have to ask you." As Aizawa says, "Okay, I have a problem. We have sort of a kind of a problem." As Aizawa says, "What is the problem, Nezu?" He's like wondering. As Nezu says, "Well, the boy that you've the boy's name's Izuku Midoriya, but he's not living with his mother." As Aizawa says, "Well, does he have an apartment then?" As Nezu says, "No, he does not. I've actually looked up records of where he lived, and they all just show up as unknown. So we do not know the whereabouts of Izuku and where he keeps going every. We don't know where Izuku's going, like Izuku went. So, but he will definitely show up like tomorrow. He did text you at Aizawa, right?" As Aizawa says, "Yeah." Nezu says, "Well, we've actually had a hacker hack into the exams." As I was like, "Wait, what?" As Nezu says, "Yes, I couldn't believe it myself. Someone hacked into our system, and no one noticed it but me. However, as soon as I tried to disconnect, like find this person who did it, the connection simply vanished. And it was Nezu was like it was like it was like something. It disappeared so fast that I was not able to track it or find its whereabouts. When I tried to look up the code instantly deleted itself." As Aizawa says, "So we have a hacker who is extremely skilled and could be a villain." As Nezu says, "Actually, no. He only hacked into the zero pointer, but he also hacked into the in the training into the exams footage as well. So we saw everything." As as I was like, "Damn, whoever this guy is must be pretty skilled." As Nezu says, "I know. That is why we must find this person. However, my theory stands. It might be is that Izuku kid." As Arisawa says, "Probably. He did say he wanted to leave early." As Nezu says, "I'll try to look into him as best I can." As Iris says, "Okay then, I'm going to sleep. Don't disturb me." Gets into the sleeping bag and just goes to sleep on the floor in front of Nezu. And Nezu's like, "Why do I even pay you?" What time is it? As Deku looks at his clock, he's like, "Oh shit. Great. Oh, I guess it's that time. Wait. Oh shit. I don't feel well. Fuck's sake, I'm sick. Really? The text hour. As Yeah, Deku hacked into Aizawa's phone like a long time ago. As Deku texts Aizawa that he won't be coming to class because he's sick. But he'll definitely be trying to be able to like arrive. Will be there tomorrow. As Aizawa just sighs and just says, "I'm giving you extra homework." As Zuko says, "Here, send me the link." As Aizawa sends him the link. As Aizawa was like about to start class, and as Aizawa was about to start it, Aizawa gets a notification on his phone, just says, "Okay, I'm done." Aizawa was like, "Wait, what?" As Aizawa was like, "Okay, guys, hold on for a minute. Just give me a minute." As he begins texting, "You can't be done that fast." As Zuko just sends him a fucking picture on his fucking laptop. Just a laptop, not the whole fucking like room. When they looking at it, it was like whole. Aizawa was like, "Problem child." As Deku says, "Yes. How did you do this?" As Izuku says, "I'm insanely smart, so yeah, it did not take me very long, so yeah, just send me more homework since I'm already, you know." Anyway, goodbye. Anyway, have a nice day, Ozawa. That call cannot be fucking traced. As Deku begins going to bed, just saying, "Oh, I hate the fact I'm fucking sick." As BT's like, "That must. Oh, pilots. I forgot to tell you." As Deku's like, "What?" As BT says, during the nanobots, they're just recalibrating your body, so they're just getting rid of any bacteria or any viruses that are in your body. So the reaction that your body's having is probably like all the viruses are like trying to escape through your body." As Izuku's like, "You could have told me sooner." As BT's like, "Sorry." Deku's like, "Okay, I'll go to bed." As Deku goes to his room and just sleeps. And his room is at the top of not like near the top of the mountain. And he has a window that's fucking. It's like a camouflage in like the glass, so no one can see it, but Deku can see through it. So yeah. Well then, as BT goes back to the training area and begins cracking his tightened knuckles and looking at Tone and Ronan, and their combat efficiency has risen up to 45% to fucking 57. As BT's like, "Come at me." As Ronan begins taking the lead, he grabs his sword and begins swinging it at BT. BT manages to dodge and grabs Ronan's arm and fucking throws him into the wall that's in the training room. As Tone begins charging BT, tackling him to the ground. As BT puts his foot on Tone's chest and fucking pushes him up into the fucking pushes him into the fucking roof. As Tone falls to the ground, as BT moves where Tone will be falling, as BT gets up, as BT begins like saying, "Is that all you got? Is that all you got, kid? Is that all you got, little ones?" That tickled. BT saying. As Ronan and Tone looked at each other and just they nodded in agreement. As Tone begins taking the lead, as BT's about to charge Tone stops and turns around and puts his palm puts his hand like a sharing palm, puts his hands together, and fucking Ronan jumps up and lands onto Tone's hands, and Tone yeets him up into the air as Tone uses his boosters to turn her back around and punch BT in the towards chest, and Ronan stabbing into BT's leg as both of them jump back as BT's like, Good job. Your combat efficiency has risen greatly. As their now combat efficiency has risen up to 57 to about 62. As BT pulls out the blade out of his leg. As BT's like, I guess I don't have to go easy on you anymore. As the fight's been going on for 2 hours, and both Tone and Ronan are almost like completely destroyed. However, BT's like missing a hand, and almost his entire like like his like cockpit, like the cockpit like where you like get into like that piece. Yeah, that's just hanging off there and it's about to fall off as PT gives them a thumbs up for doing such a great job. As they both say, thanks, but I can't move my arms, as Ronan says, I can't move my legs either. I think they're completely broken. As BT says, come on. As BT grabs Ronan. And as BT says to Tone, because since Tone is able to carry stuff, BT begins grabbing Ronan's like weapons and putting them onto Tone's back. And BT grabs his sword and puts it on his back. And BT actually deploys like the robots that are they're stalkers, but they are called cleaning stalkers. So they'll be repairing the training area for BT and Ronan, Tone and Ronan. So yeah. After that, they got the cleaners sent the parts up, and they're being actually broken down and being remade into the parts that Ronan and Tone are using. The next day, as Deku gets up and sees that school was about to start in about like 5 hours, he feels extremely better. But his body, as soon as he gets up, his body was like super fucking fast. He hit the fucking wall instantly. And Deku's like, fuck, I guess the nanites enhance my physical body. As Deku begins concentrating on having very slow movement time, and it begins working. As he begins putting on his clothes slowly, as he begins turning just to speed up a bit, he fucking manages to like rip it fucking he ripped the holding the handle on his fucking bed. Not this bed, the fucking door. And Deku's like, fuck, I'll just kick it. He kicks it, and BT's like, BT's like, BT just was like already got repaired because he was not that severely damaged. But yeah, as Deku turns to Tone and Ronan in the repair dock, and BT as he just sees Tone's arms are completely like almost like shattered and broken off, as he sees Ronan's legs are almost completely like ripped the fuck off, and he just sees the wires coming out of like both his legs. As Deku looks at BT, just says, I'm guessing you went all out. As Deku puts his hands together, and BT says, yep. As Deku's like, fine. Welp, good job, BT. As Deku begins like heading off to school, and he does all that, but I'm not gonna make that about Izuku. And of course, Momo is actually more curious because when she tried to think of what Deku was explaining to her, she did manage to make a material that was not that was a new element. However, it crumbled immediately because she didn't know that she was actually has to apply other things to it. So, I'm just kidding. Just imagine my mic just don't have a mic. Just imagine it completely cuts out. But if you guys are enjoying this, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna keep continuing to because I want to. Okay, BT checks Tones and Ron's combat data, their combat, and their combat was when it was 62 has risen up to fucking 70 fucking 5. And BT wasn't fucking like happy because he managed to get them almost really close to being perfectly ready for combat, almost 100% combat efficiency. The Monarch begins like saying, like contacting BT about they found another, they are finding more parts, but however some of the Titans there were already broken down, destroyed. However, some of the stalkers were still like are running, but Monarch, not Monarch, yeah, Monarch was surprised that they were still able to function. As BT's like, well, I'll send you some parts, and I'll send you like two stalkers, so that those two, I'll send you two engineering stalkers that will be fixing up them. As Monarch says, I would appreciate it. As BT contacts the special forces like Vanguard, and it says, I see no one here. I've been patrolling for about 5 hours. No one's here. Nothing to report. However, I do see some. How shall I explain this? I see a little drop, a broken. I did see a ship nearby. I'm just reporting that, but it's not the ship that's Monarch's guarding. It's another ship, but it's a drop ship. As BT's like, is it repairable? As Special Forces actually goes to investigate it, and just says, it is indeed repairable. However, the people in it are dead. There are nothing but skeletons. As BT's like, okay, I'll send you. Wait, how much how much like centuries do you have? Oh, I have about like two. I have about like six. As BT's like, well, uh, take three of them and go into there. Take three and grab the. Those three will grab the bodies out, while the other two try to salvage any parts, salvage any pieces that are, you know, that are far like where the ship crashed and where the pieces landed. As Special Forces like, got it. You heard him, men. Sentries, you three, grab all the bodies and bury them. You other three, find any parts that landed really far off. Go, go, go. I'll stand guard. As Special Forces turns around and just begins like looking, making sure no one is seeing this. Also, Monarch actually found out that this ship had a cloaking thing, and they've been using it to cloak it. However, they've also been like removing parts from the ship, and at the same time, they've been making the ship into a base as well. So yeah, as as class ends for Deku, and Bakugo is still like questioning like wondering how did Deku still get a quirk. As Momo like comes to walks over to Deku and just asks him about other formulas that he has. As he begins like showing her like the same thing, but the more improvements that he's done, and she's impressed by like how smart he is. Oh yeah, me Hatsune. The amount of fucking if she met fucking like Deku's like fucking like Titanol, I'm gonna call them his boys. She would like want to ask if she could take one apart and just remake it, and Deku would like say no. These are my designs, so no. So yeah, I want to check how long I've been recording. Damn, I've been recording this for a long time, huh? But anyway. Oh Lord, Lord. Okay, anyway, I gotta get to it. As BT begins like seeing that Tona and Ronan are almost done being repaired, and the estimation will be they'll be prepared in the next 2 to 6 minutes, 2 days and 6 minutes, and Tona and Ronan are fucking scared because when they're repaired, they're gonna be fighting BT, and BT now knows the fighting tactic that they do, and they're scared as fuck. As BT says, don't worry. Since your combat efficiency is risen up to 75, you'll be able to match me much more better now. At least, I think. As BT begins grabbing his gun and begins going out for a walk. Begins like walking around the trees. Cause he wants to go for a walk. Of course, Nezu sent out a drone to where Izu keeps going into the forest. However, as soon as he did, the drone instantly fucking like the camera shut off and went back to Nezu. And Nezu like thinks, oh, Anyway, as BT begins like searching around, he finds something very, very peculiar. He did not mean to find this, but the ship wreckage that was Monarchs was guarding was actually, yeah, since the Tone was the only Titan there, Tone forgot to mention that there were also Titan parts, which Tone told BT about, like not like ion parts. As BT begins searching where that thing was, he finds a couple of the parts out of the box, and the box was a bit rusted down and broken. In a container, at least. As BT begins opening up, and he just sees an ion torso. However, most of the arms and legs are completely like rotted and corroded. So BT begins grabbing the chest, grabbing the ion torso, and begins carrying it off. And its legs are completely corroded. So BT had to rip them off, or to detach it. All he has is like a fucking body of a fucking ion. However, the AI is still workable, but it's a bit more damaged. So Izuku has to put some more code to repair that, but it's a bit more damage that he will be expecting. As soon as BT arrives back, BT begins like opening another dock for another Titan. That Deku was actually wondering if there was an actually ion that crashed nearby, and his calculations were pretty much right. Also, BT also found a plasma rifle that was in pretty good condition. However, it was still able to shoot, but the rifling for it was completely corroded, or not completely corroded, completely like broken. So if BT shot it, it would destroy the whole thing instantly. So BT put that on a hanging rack for all the Titan weapons that they've been making so far. As BT puts Ion in the front of the computer, not in front of it, just sits next down to a storage thing for any Titan torsos, and he begins plugging it into the computer. But he does not want this AI to run about, so he made sure he already put a code into it, so in case the AI tried to do something rash, it couldn't do anything because the AI would only be limited to the body of it, so he cannot access anything important. So, but I'm gonna be ending it off there. Why? Because I want you guys to like enjoy this. Please, I hope you enjoy part 4. Because I was not motivated because I decided to do this. And if you're wondering how the fuck did I do such a good job at this and not my other what ifs, I have no fucking clue either. But please enjoy this video, and in the next couple of in a few days, I'll be making a playlist for this. So if you guys really like this series, please smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll talk to you all in the next one. Goodbye.